The rain fell in heavy sheets as I drove along the winding, desolate road. My windshield wipers struggled to keep up, creating a distorted view of the world outside. The storm had forced me to take a detour, leading me into unfamiliar territory. As the sky grew darker and the rain intensified, I spotted a flickering light in the distance. Relief washed over me. Surely it was a sign of civilization, a place to seek refuge from the storm. I followed the light, my tires splashing through puddles as I approached a decrepit roadside motel. The neon sign above the entrance buzzed intermittently, casting an eerie glow on the wet pavement. With no other options in sight, I parked my car and hurried inside. The lobby was dimly lit, and the air was heavy with the scent of mildew. A bell rang as I entered, and an old man emerged from behind the counter. He had a hunched back and a weathered face, his eyes carrying a distant look that sent a shiver down my spine. He welcomed me with a toothless smile, his voice cracking as he offered me a room for the night. The room was small and musty, the wallpaper peeling in places. I sighed, telling myself that it was only for one night. As I settled in, I noticed a peculiar painting on the wall, a portrait of the old man from the lobby, staring at me with those distant eyes. I tried to shake off the uneasy feeling as I climbed into bed. But as the storm raged outside, a strange tapping sound echoed through the room. It was rhythmic, like fingers against glass. I pulled back the curtains and froze. There, outside my window, was the old man, his bony fingers tapping against the glass with a maddening persistence. His eyes were fixed on mine, unblinking and devoid of any emotion. Panic surged through me, and I stumbled back, my heart racing. I grabbed my phone to call for help, but there was no signal. The tapping continued, growing louder, more insistent. I backed away from the window, my mind racing for a plan. That's when I noticed a pattern in the tapping, a pattern that spelled out words. "Let me in," the tapping seemed to say, over and over again. My breath caught in my throat as I realized the truth. The old man wasn't outside. He was already inside the room. I turned, and there he stood, his distant eyes now fixed on me with a terrifying intensity. His lips parted in a grin that stretched unnaturally wide, revealing rows of jagged teeth. I backed away, my body trembling as the old man advanced, his tapping now replaced by a low, guttural laugh. I fumbled for the door, my fingers trembling, and managed to escape into the hallway. The motel seemed to shift and warp around me, the walls closing in as if alive. I ran down the corridor, my footsteps echoing in the suffocating silence. But the further I ran, the more the hallway seemed to stretch ahead, as if mocking my attempts to escape. The laughter followed me, growing louder and more menacing. I rounded a corner, and there he was again, the old man, waiting for me. His presence filled the hallway, his eyes locking onto mine with a malevolent hunger. I turned to retreat, but the hallway had transformed into an endless abyss, the walls closing in until there was nowhere left to run. And in that suffocating darkness, the old man's laughter surrounded me, a haunting symphony that echoed through eternity.